Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are doing good. It's an unusual day because we are going live with Benton. What's up, Benton?
Yeah. Hi. How
How
are
you doing?
you?
I am
I'm
doing
doing
very well. How about yourself?
good. I haven't went live in a long time.
Yeah, it's been what time is it? 12 o'clock. It's been like 15 hours or so for me. I
Yeah.
have been staying consistent with getting people on and giving people information because
Mhm.
right now there are a lot of people that are looking to move abroad, considering the options, and I knew that this was a possibility going into the election that it could not go the way that many people may have wanted it to,
Yeah.
and we ran into a scenario where I kind of I was in a situation where I thought about it and I said, if we don't have anything to land on, then what? Because then it's just a lot of misinformation, a lot of moving places, and not necessarily knowing what you're getting yourself into. So, definitely wanted to tap in with you. I have been watching you, seeing what it is that you've been doing out there in Qatar. Both you just living your life as well as providing space and community for other people. So wanted to have you on. It's really good to see you, Bentu. To be honest with you,
I know. It's good to
it's
see you too.
it's actually crazy because probably the last time we saw each other, we were still. When did I? What have I seen you since? I know we've talked, but I don't know if I've seen you actually. And
No, it's been a minute. It's probably been maybe 15 years or so, maybe.
probably if not even longer, because you guys don't know, it's a unique scenario that we're having here because we grew up in Philadelphia, went to the same high school. I left that high school, but to be in a scenario where we're in two different environments, but have taken paths outside of the United States, it is it's an awesome experience to be here and to be able to reconnect with you after all of these years. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. No, no worries, no worries. So, for the people that don't know you, can you kind of tell me who you are? I know you're from Philly, but you are in Qatar. Like, what led you to even thinking of moving abroad, just in general, so they can get a better understanding of maybe something that they're thinking about also?
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I am Bintu Kabat. And I'm from Philadelphia. About 2 years ago, I decided to leave Philly and move to Doha, Qatar. I know everybody was like, "Oh my God, that is so crazy," and it's actually by accident. So I first heard about Doha in 26. I think it was like 2016. A colleague of mine, she went. She had an opportunity, and she went for like I would say 4 or 5 months, but then she fell in love and then moved
Hmm.
back to Philly. So that was it. I heard about it. I didn't hear nothing else. I didn't even know where Qatar was. I just heard that she was going to Qatar. And then I was in a 2 year relationship, and I wanted to get married. And he said he needed 2 more years. And then I was like, 2 more years? Yeah, okay. I'm moving. So and we were living together. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna find a job. I'm gonna maybe move to DC or something like that. So I went on Indeed, and while I was on Indeed, I saw a job posting in Washington D.C. area because I was thinking of going to D.C. because
Hmm.
I went to Howard University, and I was like, why don't I just move to Howard back to DC? It's a place for like young professionals.
Yep.
I probably can get a better job from my experience. But
Mhm.
then I saw Teach in Doha, and I was like, Teach in Doha. So at the time, my partner, I told him, I said, I see something that says Teach in Doha. Should I just apply to it? Because I was at the time I was a teacher at a charter school in Philly, and
Yep.
so he was like, yeah, sure. I don't think he ever thought I was going to actually get the job because like I interviewed in April, and I wasn't offered a contract until June. So
Okay.
like after I interviewed in April, it was like, oh, I interviewed for some job, and I had signed my contract to work back again in Philly. I didn't have any other potential, prospects. But then they were like, "We want you," and so then I said to my partner at the time, I was like, they want to send me a contract. Like, this is becoming real. So he was supportive up until the week before I left. He was like, "So you're really going to Doha? So you're really moving?" I was like, "What did I say?" And the thing was, I'm not gonna lie, I was operating on impulse. I was just like, I deserve better. I know my worth. Like, I need a change in my life. I cannot be in Philly. Because at the time, we lived in a nice apartment, but it was like right in the middle of North Philly. And I hated it. Like, I hated the violence. And I don't know if you would know, but in 2018, my younger brother was murdered in Philly.
Yeah, yeah, no,
So
I do know that. My condolences
I
for
was,
certain.
yeah, thank you. And I was just feeling all of that negative energy. I was tired of looking at all the ghetto stuff around me. I was like, first of all, I don't belong here. I need to be somewhere with all my talent, with everything that I have going on. I'm going somewhere, and I
Yeah,
don't care where it is. So, and I didn't really care because in the moment, it was just like I just wanted to get away. So I
yeah,
took a contract that was a little bit less that I was making, but after taxes, because they don't take taxes out here. So pretty much I would be getting my salary was what I would get after they took taxes out. But the plus was I wouldn't be paying rent. I
mm,
wouldn't pay transportation to work. Everything was taken care of. So the difference is after taxes in America, I still had to pay $1,500 for rent. I still had to pay gas for my car,
mm,
and my car note and all those things. So I was like, look, I need a break from all of the struggles of America. I'm
yeah.
gonna Doha. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm getting out of here. You don't want to get married. They talking about they're gonna pay my rent. They talking about they're gonna take me to work, transportation. I'm out. So that's how I got there. And I said to so it's a 2-year contract, and everybody was like, when we would like go to like his friends' houses during that time or my friends, they'd be like, "Oh, y'all about to break up," and I'm like, "Oh, no, we're not gonna break up. Like, I'm gonna just go." And because my hope was that I would come here, he would like be like, "I'm madly in love with you. I'm gonna get myself together." And we would end up engaged. Oh my God, that did not happen.
Oh man,
It
plans.
did not. So I feel like as it was just a lot of changes so quickly. And when I came, we ended up breaking up. He ended up finding someone else in 3 months, and I ended up, growing professionally here. And now, I'm being looked at for another promotion. I got a promotion. I went from just being a teacher to a assessment coordinator, and now another promotion is on the table. And I'm looking at my life, and I'm like, I said 2 years, but I could easily see myself in Doha for 10 years. And then I
Wow.
created Blacks in Qatar. And so much happened in my life in those 2 years. And I was like, wow, that was actually the best decision I made, even though it was on impulse, even though it was made out of emotion. I think it was some logic in there as well. And the logic was, I deserve better. I want better. So why not go for it?
And with that, you felt like probably you America might have ran its course of what could provide better at the time that you needed it. Is that safe to say?
Absolutely. When one thing I can say that has completely like just is not a part of my life anymore is that whole like going to bed every day with anxiety. Waking up with anxiety, going to bed with anxiety, and the feeling of never having enough. I never feel like I don't have enough while being here. I have too much. I'm actually very comfortable here. And I just feel like being in America, especially from the city that I'm from, it's a place of struggle, and there's so many people back home that are struggling, like, and I had to really look at everything for what it was, full circle, because when I first moved, of course, initially everybody was like, oh my God, liking my post, loving it. But after some time, people started to like it less, and I was like, well, on Instagram, and I'm like, well, why is this happening? Because they're struggling, they're going through things. You remember that struggle, and it's not that they're not happy for you, but you are a reminder of somebody that made it out. Like, you made it out
Because
of
they
there.
know
You made
you. Like you were
it,
right
exactly.
next to me.
I was right there. It was a time that I was catching that 36 Charlie. It was a time that, I was on Lancaster Avenue. And now they're seeing me post pictures, on beautiful sandy beaches, and they see me travel with my heart's desires, and they see my wardrobe is changing and the people that I'm around is changing, and they're like, oh my God, like how was she able to do this? How can I do this? And that's why I created Blacks in Qatar, because it's like, I am not a gatekeeper of this. Like, I'm telling you, this was on accident. I tell people. So when I found out the information, I was like, I want more of my people to get out of Philly, get out of America, even if it's for a short period of time. And I want to show you how I did it and give you some tools. I'm not saying that my way is the only way or it's the best way, but this experience has changed my life completely. Like, I have made lifelong international friends that, you know, that's taught me so much. I've grown so much as a person. And I didn't even realize how small minded I was in certain dimensions, in certain conversations. And even when it comes to the education system in America, like, there's so much that they don't teach us when it comes to like world education. What is
Hmm.
happening in other countries?
Other
What
countries,
is
just America
happening in
only.
other news? We don't know.
Nope.
Like, we as Americans, we think that our way is the best way. We think that this information that we're receiving, everybody cares about. And really, I feel like in America, we really care more about like celebrity stuff, and like it's not as serious. Whereas some of my other friends, they know so much. They know like every country's cities of every country. Like, they know every flag. Like, geography is not a game for other people. For us, we're like, oh, I don't know. Where's that? I don't know.
Even something coming down to um, getting humbled here in Colombia, because I've got folks that don't speak any Spanish, English whatsoever. But shout out to them. The Rosa Parks Foundation is a foundation that's down here in Medellin, Colombia. The woman that I met with, she actually understands, like, hey, they have their own Colombian civil rights, they have their own Colombian activists, Harriet Tubman X kind of people similar, but they know theirs and they know ours. However, the other way around is not often presented. Whereas, yes, we know Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and Martin Luther
Yeah,
King, but we don't know the those people of these other places. But they're either getting taught and or learning and or seeking this information. So
yeah.
it's even a different thought process of, not thought process of people, but people are completely thinking differently outside of the bubble that is America.
Absolutely. And even when we think about slavery, right? I had no idea that they had slaves in Qatar, that there are black Qataris, black Arabs. I didn't even know that black Arabs existed. My ignorance. Like, hello. And I'm like meeting people and they're
Like,
teaching me. Yeah. I'm like, what? Where have I been? What? And so now I'm seeking more knowledge and I'm reading again more. I feel like when I was in America, I was so busy trying to make a living that I didn't, I wasn't able to just stop and relax and read. Like, time was going by so fast.
yeah.
Here, I'm slowing it down a bit. You know, my schedule is so sweet. Like, yes, I get up every day at 5 for work, and I get to work by 6:20, but by 2:30, I'm done. I'm on my way home,
Yeah.
right? Actually, kids are gone by 12:45 in my classroom. Okay. So, and then I'm there and I'm just doing other stuff. I'm doing my prep stuff. America could never. I used to be at work from like 7 in the morning to like 6 p.m. sometimes doing
Ooh.
after school programming. Like, crazy. After school, and here I'm telling you, after school is within those hours. Like,
Hmm.
literally, like, I'm a part of some English after school, and I do it from like 1:30 to 2:30. Literally out of there. They're not wasting your time. Okay. They're not doing that. So, like, I love that for me. And then it's like I'm working. School is from Sunday to Thursday, because on Fridays everybody goes to the mosque to pray.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Ramadan is coming up. We are so excited because Ramadan is such a beautiful time in Qatar, because it's like Christmas, but for
Mm,
Muslims. Like, literally, they have everything lit up. Just like they would have Christmas lights, they have Ramadan lights everywhere. It's
nice.
it's just a beautiful time of giving and support, and also like fasting together. Even non-Muslims fast, because we're just showing each other that kind of respect.
Yeah.
I love being here. I really do. I really feel blessed to have this opportunity. And I just hope that I can continue to be here for as long as I would like to be here, because I understand this is not my land, this is not my country. And I think also being here makes me look at everything like I am not for all of Donald Trump's nonsense. But one thing I see in Qatar that, I see that Donald Trump is trying to do away with, I can't be a citizen here, and I can't stay here forever either. Like my time, like I can stay here up until like 50. If I want to be if I'm a teacher, I would have to leave. I can't be here forever. I can't have a kid here and they're Qatari. That's never happening. There's a sense of pride and nationalism there in here. And so when I think about some of the things of our country, it makes me think like, do the Qataris, are they onto something here? Does it
I
work?
mean,
Like
most
it,
places aren't like, and I definitely like. I can't have a kid here, and it's just now you're Colombian. Like that's not. There's only a couple of places around the world that actually like do that. But it's because I feel like United States feels the brunt and the bear of I need to be a beacon of light for the entire world. At the same
yeah.
time, not taking care of us as American citizens. Now,
And
completely,
so
that
that's what
is.
I exactly. And so I feel like if we're gonna go back to the basics, I do feel like Americans deserve more. You know, I feel like that's what being here makes me think about how people think that we're the greatest and we're the greatest land, but our people are suffering. And I would a, like for them to turn a tide a bit, like I want more people to be happier. I don't want to have to leave to be happy. I love being from America. Sometimes I miss being in America. Don't get it twisted. Like there are days that I'm like, if only I could have this lifestyle and be in America. But I could never live in the kind of apartment I could live in here on a teacher's salary in America. No
Hmm.
way. I can never have the lifestyle. First of all, I can go to five-star restaurants in Qatar 3 to 5 times a week if I really wanted to off my salary. I can order every day a Uber Eats, but it's called Talabat here. I order my groceries here. I have a cleaner here. My life here is completely comfortable. And teachers are respected for the work that they do. It's not like that in America. So I just feel like something has to change, something has to give because if people are now feeling like they want to leave, what if so many people leave? What if so many Americans leave? What if that happened? How would America stay running off the backs of immigrants, the ones you're trying to kick out?
Hold on, but we just listen. It's only we on day 6. We on day 6, and I've already seen videos of empty fields and empty like the produce that everybody is eating because of these immigration things that are going on. People are like, I'm not going over there because that's where they're going to go. So you're going to start seeing in the next couple of weeks and or months, just things continue to just rise because of what you're talking about. People are like,
Yeah,
hey, the United States brings such a unique perspective when you get out of the United States and then look back into it,
yeah,
that you aren't afforded when living there your entire life. Like
oh yeah,
the like I said, it is definitely not lost on me. Just even the fact that I know where both of us came from, and to be able to be on the other sides of the world, South and the far Middle East, it's like it's a testimony that it can be done. And so many people now are in this scenario where they're looking trying to figure out how to work. And some places like Qatar, the Middle East, have opportunities for you to be able to go get a contract there. Can you kind of tell me, because you hit it on a little bit, but what did you do? Because there's going to be some people that watch this are in the education field that want to possibly consider. I'm here in Colombia. I brought you on because Colombia is not the end all be all for somebody.
yeah,
But there's
sure.
you in Qatar, there's other people. We had Panama on last night. We want to give these people an understanding of, okay, well, what kind of skill set did you have to land a job teaching English in Qatar?
Awesome. That's a great question. So, I had to have a degree and teaching experience. So not necessarily a teaching certification, but if you have like a bachelor's, it works. And some experience teaching, it works for you. Okay. I also wrote an ebook about teaching abroad. So definitely, if you guys want to check that out,
Yeah,
it's at blacksinqatar.com. Um, maybe you could like drop it down or something like that. I don't know. You guys
yeah,
can follow
I'll
me on
put it.
Instagram
Yeah, I'll
or
put it in the
TikTok.
chat.
Mhm. Okay. So In my ebook, I break down each chapter on like everything from when you first get offered your contract, some of the questions that you would need to ask, some of the things you need to look for, because your contract is your package essentially. So like you should not be leaving your home country without a housing allowance in your contract and without transportation in your contract. But before we even get to that, you want to apply for the job. Somebody says, "What if you don't have experience teaching?" I'm also on TikTok Live. What if you don't have experience with teaching English in Qatar?
I am too.
So, so you need to have experience teaching, period. Because you know what? They might put you in a different grade, they might put you in a different area, but you gotta show, hey, I've taught before, if you want to be a teacher, or they might just put you as a teaching assistant. And a teaching assistant to me is not like how a teaching assistant would be in America. In America, a teaching assistant is like a teacher in training. Like they are going to be a teacher. Here, a teaching assistant is more so like helping you clean up the classroom, like little supports like that. So you have to decide for yourself if you want to become a teaching assistant or you want to be a teacher. A teaching assistant is going to make half the salary as a teacher. How do I don't want to interrupt the sound. What do I do?
I just turned it down. I just turned mine down. You
Oh,
might
I
have.
do the same thing. Okay. Yeah, do the same thing. Smart. Okay. So, when you're looking for a job, again, there are also websites that I listed in my ebook. You want to try to like I went on Indeed, so I was lucky, to be honest. Like it just popped up. But there are websites that people are paying for to find teaching jobs. So definitely, again, if you want to know what those websites are, I can't pull them out right now, but there are like several. Some of them you pay like $50 for the year. Some of them you pay $100 for the year, and like you'll put up your resume. They'll do like a background check, and they'll give you like tons of jobs that you could apply to. Or if your resume is in a database, they'll just like send you notifications like, "Hey, this job is interested in you," so like that. But
Okay.
then you have all of your documents accredited. So that is one thing that I wish I knew ahead of time, because it does take time. And I did my accreditation myself. But if you pay somebody to do it, it can cost you up to like $1,000, to be honest, because it goes to different sections. Like, so when we talk about accredited, it means that it's a certified document. So like, you'll get your degree accredited. So you'll
Mhm.
get it notarized, and then you'll have like a paper with a gold seal on there. You'll get your clearances accredited. So it goes from like the local to the state to the national level.
Okay.
Okay. So you need to it has to go through different channels, and then it goes to the Qatari embassy in America, and then it goes to the Ministry of Education when you come here. So wherever you want to teach abroad, you have to get your documents accredited, which just makes it is authenticated. It's an authenticated documentation that this is accurate, that this is honest, this is truthful.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. No
got this
Photoshop.
degree. So that's what you have to do.
Nah, that's really good information though, because I know a lot of teachers. You mentioned even being appreciated. I grew up in a teacher household. You know, both my mother and my stepmother were teachers, and I didn't feel like we're appreciated both by role and by finances, and the quality of
Yeah.
life that they were able to provide is they were looking to educate Americans. And that's the weirdest thing, because America prides itself on being the best country in the world, and it's like you don't even educate your citizens and or keep them in safe when they get sick. You know, so many people are in a scenario where a sickness can just end everything. If they can't go to work, that's it. One, even if you are going to work, is a paycheck away. You know, when you got to Qatar, because had you been to Qatar before you accepted the contract, or did you move sight unseen?
Sight unseen. Listen. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna show you.
So many,
I was
but it
like,
was,
they taking me. They want me. I'm
they
going.
want me. They want me. I gotta go. They want me.
You don't
No,
want me. They want me. So I'm out of here.
no,
I just
seriously.
knew it was. I just knew it was close to Dubai, and I was like, take me closer to where the money is, because I have this thing in my mind where I'm really trying to build wealth for myself. And I feel like if I'm closer to where the money resides, then I will, it'll open up my mind to think differently about how I see money. Because I absolutely do now. Coming from Philly, I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's such a struggle place, people would get hype off of like getting their taxes back. Now I'm in a place where people are like pulling up to pick up their kids in Rolls Royce, in Bentleys,
And they pay cash
um,
out there. Ain't no credit.
it's gold everywhere. And I'm not saying that some of the ways that they live is realistic, but maybe it is because that's their life. It's realistic for them. It's not realistic for me right now, but it's good to see and it's good to be around that. Like, let me tell you something. I can, like, literally the restaurants that I have been to here, I have never in my life been to restaurants like that in other places. I can't even dine the same when I go home. When I go home, I'm so unimpressed. What people think is VIP in America, I feel like, oh, please, you have no idea. Seriously, some, like, the service, the quality, even when you go out to dinner and you get your stuff packaged, because they package everything for you, the bags that you leave with, the doggy bags. I'm like, everything here has like a nice, like, presentation.
Hmm.
When you buy chocolates, it's like a fancy presentation. Every single thing is looks luxe. And I'm like, what happened to America when we used to have quality stuff? That's what I'm thinking. Like, so I mean, I'm spoiled, and I feel like I had to get out of the hood. Even though I'm not from the hood. Philly, essentially as a whole, can be seen as a hood city. So I
All
had to leave the
states.
hood and level up, and now my eyes are like open. Like, I can't go back. I can't unsee. I can't undo what has been done. you know.
That's
So it's
real.
like, and it's so crazy because when the first year I came, people would try to keep up with me, hit me up here and there. I would talk to people. Now I feel like nobody calls me like that. Only my family and like a few friends that I've had for a long time check in like through text or whatever. But it's true what they say: the longer you live abroad, the more your friendships will change, and some things will fade away because now people cannot relate to you. Or they feel because they can't relate to you that you still don't have a relationship. But me, I'm like a real cool person. Like, I don't think that I'm better than anyone because I'm here, but I do believe that there are some things that I can no longer relate to. There are some things that I will not do anymore. There are some activities that I will not engage in anymore. I will say that. There are places that I will not go anymore if I went home. I'm not gonna lie. My lifestyle has changed dramatically. But it doesn't mean that I don't. I'm not a cool girl. I'm still from Philly at the end of the day.
Nah, I mean, that's definitely real because, when it's been almost 2 years for me, and be 2 years in March, and it is my dynamics of family and friends have definitely changed, and even my homies that I talk to all the time, they're like, you Colombian now, man. Why you worried about American business? And I'm like, but y'all are still there. Y'all my family, y'all my friends. I still got to worry about y'all and
I
be
still gotta
concerned
keep that link, that connection.
what is going on. But it is different, and a lot of us that do move abroad, um, it may not be at the support of friends and family. It might be getting a lot of points that says like you're nuts for moving there. You're
Oh yeah.
outrageous, and it's like I
Mhm.
actually think people are nuts for staying.
When I first said that I was moving to Doha, there were people who were like, "You're not scared? What, you know what's going on over there? What's going on? What's going on over there? What do you know that I don't know?" Because I didn't know what was going on
Can
over
you
here.
turn on
Okay,
Rick Williams, please? Because I know he just covered like 28 murders last night. Rick Williams had to cover
exactly.
28 murders in Philly, but you're worried about what
First of
happened.
all, I'm scared to sit in my car in Philly versus traveling miles away to one of
Recommend
the
that.
safest countries in the world to meet new people, to eat good, to like go to the best beach clubs in the world. Then when they started seeing my life, they were like gagging. They were like, excuse me? Like, is this what she's doing?" Because I also think that, when you say you're going to like the Middle East, um, people think, okay, are you gonna have to be garbed up all day? Are you gonna be like, not having a life? But oh my God, I'm having probably more of a social life here than I even had in America because America will stop being fun. Like, for me, I felt like in order for me to have a good time, I would have to go to like DC real quick. But even that started to bore me, you know? And I feel like here I'm having fun, but safe fun. All the clubs are located in hotels. Yes, if you want to drink, you can drink. You can just get a liquor license if you want to go to like their liquor store, which is called a QDC. It's not like that a lot of our problems in America is because it's anything goes all the time. And sometimes, unfortunately, you gotta like kind of like put a boundary there. And here in Qatar, you are not getting a bottle of liquor if you don't have that liquor license to go into that liquor store. And you got a limit to how much liquor you can get every month based on your salary. Okay. So you're not about to be going up in there buying
Spending
a whole
all
bunch.
of your, you can't. They're
Yeah,
actually it's like an anti-wino bill. Like you make $300, you can't
exactly.
spend 275 a month on liquor.
You know, I mean, they give you a generous allowance, but it's just like,
That
yo,
makes
like
sense.
they don't want a bunch of people walking around on the court. Like, and if you're outside being drunk or unruly, you getting deported. They're not having it. You know, they want to keep a nice, clean image. And some may say that's not reality, but I feel like, look, why is it that people aren't just killing people walking down the street? There are rules here. People are afraid of. They listen. They are afraid of that authority to some degree. We have so much police presence in America, but yet we have so much violence. What is the problem here? I don't
What's all the
understand.
police for? Everybody getting shot up every day. Like somebody's not
Well,
doing a good
obviously they
job.
are exactly. Obviously, they're allowing people to have guns. They're allowing all of this chaos into these communities because it benefits somebody somewhere. So to me, it's just like it's going to get worse before it gets better. And if you really want to if you're thinking about having children, like we're at the age now where many of our peers have children. We don't have children yet. Oh, I don't know. You ain't got no kids, right?
I have no
Like,
children. And
if
none
you
on the
did,
way. I said that this early this week.
mashallah,
No
thank our
children, none
blessing.
on the way.
But neither one of us have kids yet. I'm about to be 38 years old. Hey, I might still have a kid or two. But if you do want to raise a kid, I would be so scared to think about raising them in America right now. It's like, where are you going to raise them? What city? Which
Mass
area?
shooter drill. We remember fire drills. You be like, all right, y'all, go down there. When they get a fire, you go downstairs. You stand in the thing, line up in the class.
Yeah.
That was like okay. That's what we had to for kids. That was what they had to worry about. And
Hmm.
now, normalcy. We've gotten so used to things that actually used to make us upset in
Yeah.
America, and it's real actual present time PTSD. You know,
Yeah.
um, we've gotten used to so many things from finances. We remember when we were kids, you could somebody was going to the airport, you could go all the way up to the gate with them, watch the plane take off, and
Oh
then
yeah.
but then 9/11 happened, and we were in freshman year when 9/11 happened. And I
Mhm.
remember it like
I remember that.
yesterday because trying to get home
Yes.
was crazy. I
It was
remember shout out to
crazy.
Jawanda because I was like, it was her birthday, and she was like, it's my birthday, and everybody was like, wait, what something's going on? I remember like
Yeah.
that day, like it was yesterday, and thinking
Because
about it.
nobody could call their parents. Like the
There was
phone
not
lines
even like
were
cell phones
crazy.
like that. Like you had a cell phone, but it wasn't like I'm gonna send a text message, or it wasn't even like then we had to try to get home. Like these things became normal as we got older. Where at one point we were really upset about them. Baggage fees on airlines, that wasn't a
Oh,
thing. These
oh
things
no.
that
Yeah.
we were old enough to remember when Columbine first happened, and that was
Mhm.
with the outrage of never again, and then even things when we were older and saying Sandy Hook, it was more stuff, but now it's just every day is a mass shooting, and both of us live in a place where we're not even worried about those things anymore until we go back home.
To an extent, like most recently, I heard about a 17-year-old boy. He was like a star athlete. He scored the highest in his school for SATs, and he got
At
shot
first,
leaving in the morning, going to high school. He's with his mom and got shot in front of his house. And I shed a tear for him because it felt like my brother getting shot all over again. There are moments in time because I do still follow Philly pages on Instagram because I still got to know what's going on in my city, right? And I
yeah.
still have another younger brother. Um, but for me, like there are times I'm just like numb. and but there are still times that I'm really just very devastated, and I do shed tears out here because I'm there. There is another thing that people call what survivor's remorse. There are times that I feel sad because I feel like I wish I could just bring all these people back here with me and take them away from that reality. But the reality is, like, I can't do that. And so there have been times that I used to feel like, should I keep posting my happy life here? Like, is it okay? Like, do people feel like I'm just rubbing it in their faces? Because it's not that, but I also feel like I need to honor the space that I'm in right now. Like, I pray for times like this. I pray to be able to be free of the struggle of Philly, and just like, I wanted to be safer. I wanted a safer community. I kept the before I got this job that year, I kept praying. I kept telling him, I hate living in this neighborhood. I hate everything that I'm seeing around me. Like, I gotta get out of here. I don't like it. It's making me so sad. It's making me so depressed. I'm not happy. I kept saying that. I just want to be in a new community. I want to be in a new community. And now nothing happens in this community that I'm in. It's just so quiet. It's so safe. There's a doorman. Like, it's, come on, like, I feel great. And sometimes when God blesses you with stuff, you're not supposed to hide it. And you're not supposed to just, make it real quiet. You're supposed to be loud about your gratitude in a sense, but not in a way that it makes anyone else feel like trash or anything like that. It's just like in a way that is meant to inspire the people. And that's why I created Blacks in Qatar, to inspire the people to say, hey, whenever you're ready to come on over, here's a community for you. Here's some information. Here's what you do. Here's where to go. This has been my experience.
No, that's real because organically we're doing the exact same thing because we
Yeah.
know what it is to want better, and once you get the opportunity to actually do better, it is definitely about the reach back. I think the
Yeah.
reach back is what these conversations are. Why we're here right now, what Black Secretary is, what Mood Travel Colombia has become to be, because it gives people the opportunity to say, I mean, yeah, you can see this. And I tell my friends, my boys, like, bro, like, I love you telling me exactly what it is. And he's like, but I can't leave right now. But it's giving me hope that it's not just this. And us having our drawbridges low enough to not say, because some people, and we've seen them, and I don't really know them personally, but we've definitely seen people leave a place, get to said place that is considerably better for them, yet never reach back to the people that are still there with information that they can use. Me just telling
Yeah.
you that I can go and it's $2 for an Uber. It doesn't give you anything besides the stats that it's $2 for an Uber. But if I'm sitting on, calls and putting together information and things for you to be able to digest and say, like, here's a blueprint and or a roadmap to find said happiness. Maybe my happiness looks different from what it is that your happiness looks like, but whatever it is, here's a path. So, people like you, people like me, people like we've been bringing on are appreciated, and hopefully they are, because when we left, I did not have anyone to go to and say, how do I actually do this? There wasn't a lot of roadmap and or blueprint. I had to just kind of figure it out. And now we're in a specific space that so many of us have seen what life abroad can actually bring to your quality of life versus what we thought quality of life was when we were living in Philadelphia, we were living in the States. It's it's you now feel appreciated as a teacher. What if you never got that ability and you spent your entire life in Philadelphia teaching these kids? You guys get the you guys get the thanks, but not the thanks that you deserve. But now you're seeing life in a scenario where, like, I can teach, be happy, have a good life, and I like listen. I listen. I read all the stuff that you write on Facebook about some of the interactions that you're having with the kids, some of the interactions that you're having with the parents, even seeing how parenting works. Where they're like, my kid is not about to be in school for 10 hours a day. I'm
No,
going to give
they're
them a
not
little
happening.
information, and it's even
Yeah,
giving you a
and then they
different
go.
thought process when you have a child to say, do I want my kid just to be indoctrinated with this?
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know what I
They
mean?
they've made me think about that. Like, excuse me, like, why does he have to be here for 8 hours today? No, he needs to come for a couple of hours. He needs to learn. Then he needs to go play. And he needs to go relax a little bit. Um, I feel like in America, like even when you look at kindergarten in America is bonkers, bananas, as opposed to like in China. You know, it's like why y'all got these kids sitting at these desks all day? They are 4, 5, 6 years
They
old.
are going crazy at those desks and then get labeled
They need
bad.
to
Like,
learn.
it's the fun.
Yes, they need to be exploring their world, learning through play. I am a big proponent of learning through play. And so when we look at the curriculums and all of that, because one of my major goals is that I do want to open up a school one day. And
Okay.
so and I feel like some people open up schools, but they've never been a teacher. So I feel like for me, I've been a teacher. Now I'm getting into leadership, assessments. I'm pretty much in all aspects of it, curriculum development. So now when I open up my school, I now can see what is needed. So it could be a different type of global academy. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I was able to teach internationally because that's something else to add to your resume to say, this is why I am qualified to be somebody to open up a school. When I'm talking to investors, they can believe in me and say, okay, this is why we should support this project because
Yeah.
this person has been doing education work X amount of years, did it here, did it there. And guess what? All these kids have in common. They all have one thing in common, and it's that they have a desire to learn. And if you believe in them and you pour into them, they can achieve. I don't believe in the whole notion of like, I have some colleagues who think like, oh, they won't learn. They just Arab kids. Like, oh, you could try your best, but they won't learn. Absolutely not. Like, I am watching my skills, my interventions, or working in a classroom. I am teaching children abroad how to read, and that is mind blowing to me. Using the same practices that I use with Black children in Philly, in the ghetto, and I've taught them how to read. So I'm doing
Yeah.
the same things in a different place, and I'm
Yeah.
giving them the same vibes and they love me. They love having a Black teacher.
That's dope. Nah, that is such a beautiful experience to be able to have because, I so many people are asking these questions. I was texting the homie India today because I saw her on Instagram and she was looking at Mexico and I was just trying to give her some insight on Colombia because there's so many black women that are out here that are single. There's so many black moms that are even single moms that are out here. I think it's one girl out here. She got like 4 kids, like 4 daughters, and they're like from like 7 to like 12 maybe, and
Mm,
and I'm like, there's no way that one. Um, I tell people that if you don't know, black women do not play about their safety. So
yeah.
when people ask me about living in Colombia and if it's safe for me, I don't think they know what things that they're under versus the the nightly news will tell you that 48 people got shot in your neighborhood and then tell you the one thing that happened in one place and in the entire country, and you will turn the whole country off, but you will get all up and down in your neighborhood and the city and other places. And it's crazy because it's like the American media will lie to you about what's outside of America and make you believe. Americans love their three favorite words are third world and country. They love to be able to call somewhere else a third world country and not understanding what they are actively going through at the time they're saying that.
Well, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones. Did you watch Game of Thrones
Yes, I
before?
do.
So I feel like America is like trying to scare people of what's beyond the wall in a sense.
Yes. Don't
That's what I
go.
look at it like, do you really want to go somewhere else? You are in the best nation in the world. You have your freedom. But it's like y'all was just trying to ban TikTok. So do I have my freedom? Like, okay. So they're just always trying to like put these like lies and stuff. I mean, just look at the whole resurgence of people being interested in Africa now and everybody trying to go for Debt to December. People want dual citizenship and things like that. Once upon a time, everybody was getting fed that Africa was nothing but like villages and like poverty, right? And yes, those things do exist, but guess what? There's so much poverty in Philly. I remember with my own eyes seeing kids in North Philly dirty, like without a coat, cold outside. that's poverty. You know, people in our backyard, if they didn't have food stamps, they weren't eating. You know, so at the end of the day, I tell my friends in Africa, we have poverty too. Stop thinking that you can't get poor in America. You could find yourself
Easily
homeless
get
in
poor.
America, leaving your country and be homeless in America. Think about it, you know? So I just think
They
that
don't.
America has
They
had
don't even know that people can literally work all day in America and still be a homeless person. Like you can have a full
absolutely,
time job, be quote unquote paid a living wage. When I tell people that here, they're like, nah, 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 nah. And I'm like, why would I lie?
yes.
Why would I make that
Why would
up?
I
Like,
lie to you? Why am I here? Why would I be here? A
why
girl
would
from
I?
Philly
You
with so
see
much
me in
freedom.
front of you. Why am I here? You see me all of the time in front of you. There's no reason, if it was what it was,
Yeah.
that I would be where it is that you're having this conversation with me.
Yeah, and I would say America has had some of the best PR ever, you know, because we have been able
Overtime.
for decades, for generations to show people like this is where you want to be. People are dying to come here. But I'm
Cap.
like, listen. But now I'm actually meeting like young people from like Nigeria and Africa that's like, oh no, I don't want to go, I don't want to stay there. I just want to visit. I don't want to get shot and killed in America. So now I'm being offended because I'm like, hold on, who told you you're gonna get shot and killed? But the
The
thing is,
truth,
I am a testament of that because my brother was shot and killed. So I can't lie to you, but it's like I don't feel the same amount of fear as you because I'm from America. But I can see somebody feeling like, do I really want to visit there? Do I really want to go there? Now it's a new wave of thinking. Like maybe we're not the best because we can't even keep our citizens safe from gun violence. We can't even keep
we're not.
kids in school safe. People are not
We,
coming into Qatari schools with guns shooting up kids. That is not
we are
happening
not the
here.
best. I am going to go out on a limb and stand all the way on it and say, America is not the best country. If you can go to work all day and cannot afford to have a place to live as a citizen, if it, but at the same time, your country is
Mhm.
paying for health care for people that are not in country when people in said country do not have access to health care,
I got
and
healthcare here.
it's going to break their bank just to I have insurance. It costs me $400 a month, but when I go to the doctor it's still going to cost me $300 to $400 extra on top of that, as if they're paying people at a wage where they can actually pay for those things. You
Yeah.
can now have lab grown meats in the United States, and you don't even know which ones were grown in
Plastic
labs and which
rice,
ones were
plastic, all
plastic
types of
rice,
nonsense,
plastic fruit,
dyes and
vegetables.
foods. Like it's ridiculous.
They
And
don't even
so,
serve half the stuff that I used to eat here.
no. Oh
And
no.
then the thing they do,
Somebody's
tell them.
asking. They did the BSN in America, but they have an African passport. Would they be treated fairly? I think that that's actually a good question. I think because you went to school in America, you actually have a greater chance of being treated a little bit more fairly because you did your BSN in America. Even with that African passport, you went to an American school. So I feel like, you know, you should take your chances on trying to find a job because one thing we didn't talk about that's different than America on this live is that in America you got to deal with racism. In Doha, you're dealing with I think a bit of like classism and I don't even know what else to call it. Like you getting a good job is solely dependent on your passport. So basically, if you have an American passport, an Australian passport, Canadian passport, like countries that they respect, that you know English is their main language.
Mhm.
Um, and I've heard that South African also they do well with the South African passports. But if you're from like a West African country, some Arab countries, like it depends. They'll either not hire you for the job or they'll give you way less salary than they would give like an American person. And
Hmm.
also there's also salaries for like in like when while you were in Qatar, they hired you while you were already here versus like if you're abroad. So you may not get the same kind of package if you are in country hire basically. So if you let's say you were just here on like a little visa and you've been here for a few months and they hired you here, they may not pay for your housing allowance or they might give you like a super low housing allowance. So you gotta like really ask different questions because the cost of living can be pretty high here. I'm not gonna hold you either. Like even though I don't pay rent, I cannot say that there's major savings going on here because
Hmm.
I feel like unless you don't do anything, but if you're like going out and you're like trying to have an active life, it can be pretty hard. It depends on your salary though. Like, but a lot of people complain that their money goes by pretty fast in Qatar. But for me, I feel like now there are people who are making like a lot of money here, a lot. You have some people who are in nursing, engineering, as you would make in America. So you're making anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a month, let's say, depending. Oh, and that's the higher end. Okay, there are still people who are making about like $800 a month, $1,000 a month in U.S. money. So you really got to think about how you're living, because like somebody like myself, I have a very healthy social life. I have to, for Blacks in Qatar, I have to let people know where to go. People invite me to things. So if you're planning on going out every weekend, yeah, like, because some brunches are like 500 Qatar reals, 300 Qatar reals. Some people can't even spend that. Some people are not making that much money. If I'm making 12,000 Qatar reals, which is like $3,000 a month and up, that's a good salary here. But some people are making 2,000 Qatar reals a month, 5,000 Qatar reals a month, you know? So you gotta
So
like think,
it's about what's this about four? Is it like four reals to a dollar or something like that?
yeah.
Okay.
So so you have to like, the cost of living can be high, and I get free transportation to work. So I just catch an Uber when I'm not at work to different places. So that helps me with saving money. But imagine if your job isn't paying for transportation and you gotta get on a bus to get to work and you gotta, do all that. So it really depends how
Yeah.
your lifestyle is, what type of lifestyle you're gonna have in Doha. And then you got people that have to send money home to their families off of their meager salary here. So that's why I tell people, like, before you move to Doha or before you move anywhere, really do the cost analysis. See if it's gonna be worth it for you. And also, I tell people, don't come here if you don't have a job. And if you're already here and you came without a job and you're looking for a job,
That's the sign.
it's pretty hard. It's going to be hard. It
Don't
is.
come here if you don't have a job. That is
I'm
the
telling
rainbow.
you, because it's so hard for foreigners here, especially if they don't have the right passport. It's like at that
Yep.
point, it's like who you know. It's like who you
And that
know.
American passport is not. It's good, but it's not it's not even the top five. I don't think anymore. I think it's maybe in the top 10, but like number nine as
No, it's
far
still
as
getting
where
here.
you can go and things of that nature. Because I was talking
But
to
when it
a
comes to
buddy.
hiring,
Huh? Ooh,
it's still, when it comes to like getting hired, it's still respected. You're
got
still
you.
gonna be at the top. Like, let's not lie about it here. People are still trying to get that blue passport because it still has power and respect there, because there's people respect Americans, like universities, American doctors. Even for me, like if I have to have a major surgery, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go home. I want to go home and get my surgery. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't want nobody here to do my surgery. I want to go home to America. I want to see one of those doctors. That's how I feel personally. So
Got
we could talk trash all we want to, but we still got the respect when it comes to certain things. So you got to be very careful. It probably is not worth it for you to come here if you're gonna just be a security officer. Like a lot of Kenyans have been placed in security. A lot of Filipinos are nannies. Like there are specific jobs that are just for certain demographics. That's mind blowing to me. That
yeah,
certain people hold certain jobs here, and
yeah,
that's
that
it.
is. And that's definitely different from here because I wouldn't say there's like
Yes,
a parity. In Colombia, it's Colombia, so there are Colombians, and the everybody is a super minority, and it does not operate that way, which is why bringing a different perspective on because I see they started I went to Morehouse and they started a Spell House abroad chat. And I'm starting to see that there are a number of us that went to Spelman and Morehouse that do live abroad. And I saw a guy living in Dubai. So I'm like, okay, so this Middle East. And I know a lot of people have been thinking about those kind of places. I always tell people when they look at where to move, one, you're good. You specifically are good because you're working on your time zone, you're working on your time zone. It's not like you're trying to get to Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, back at home. Your job actually allows you to live as a Qatari. Versus some of these people are looking with no job and saying, okay, well, I can work remote and let me go live in Qatar. Well, just to give you guys a heads up, We started at 12 o'clock on the Saturday because I think it's almost 8 p.m. there right now, or is eight
It's
almost nine
actually
p.m.
almost 9. It's almost 9 p.m.
So when we talk about this actual move that you guys are contemplating, make sure you know what time it is. If you can get a job that's there, you mentioned several benefits that aren't always apparent or available in other countries. Like, can you get a job here in Colombia working for a Colombian company? Yes, but you may not want to be paid like in Colombian wages. The wages, because things don't cost as much, people don't necessarily need to make as much. So those things are all things that people need to think about. It's so good that you have an ebook on, because I know it's a lot of educators that are going to see this and say, I can go teach. And somebody asked me that, anywhere I can go teach English. That's why I'm like, what did you do? Because I have an English degree.
Come to door.
I have an English degree.
Blacksincator.com.
I
And
did not.
right now, major hiring going on. Hmm.
I can come over there and get a job because I don't have any teaching experience. I just have speaking experience and an English degree. But those are things that people are probably going to want to know. Like,
Yeah.
how
And we
can I
might
do?
have to do this again. We might have to do a whole nother like live. I feel like we're just warming up.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. We want to continue to have these conversations, Bintu, because um, we are only on day 6. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to see what happened yesterday in America's, news. But the first 4 days were quite interesting. And I'm certain that just because it's the weekend doesn't mean that the news of what will happen as they continue to maneuver and shift things. So as they're going to force people to continue to want to tune into these kind of things and say, how?
Can I just say something? Somebody's talking about the freelance visa. Don't come here with you'll regret it. I'm not so sure about that. With the freelance visa, you're not under anyone's sponsorship, and that could be good because this is the thing. So you see, how I'm working at my school. If I wanted to leave my school because I didn't like the school and I want to go to another school, my school would have to give me permission to leave at NOC because they are sponsoring my visa. A lot of places don't give you an NOC. A lot of jobs or businesses basically releasing you to go work somewhere else. You would literally have to go home, renew, like get the other company to give you a new visa to come back. But if you're not under someone's sponsorship, that means you're freelance. Granted, when your visa expires, you got to pay, I think, 3,500 Qatar Rios to get your visa renewed again. You get like a 3 month grace period. But like, if I were like someone like that came without a job, I would want to do like I would just want to be on my freelance thing because once you get locked into some of these jobs, the treatment is not A1. And so you want to be able to just leave, go home, go to another place or go to a different job being free. You do not want to be pigeonholed, especially if you're like from the West African diaspora. You see that they have a lot of issues with people. So for me, if I was from one of those West African countries, I would like to be on a freelance visa. That way I have more options because these jobs will not give you an NOC to leave to go to another job. You have to go back to your country and hope to come back again. So I just want to
Mm.
leave you with that.
That's good information because when we talked to my buddy in Ghana, and what he was saying was a reason to get the Ghanaian passport that is being offered is because your American passport can't get you into other countries with ease, whereas the Ghanaian passport and the neighboring countries, you could
The African
actually
countries,
have,
yeah.
right, you could actually go into them with ease versus that blue passport won't work as
Absolutely.
easy.
I just paid $100 to get into Zanzibar. Like if I had the Ghanaian passport, I wouldn't have been paying that. I would have just went about my business. So yeah, like I think that's a good idea for anyone. If they're offering it, hey, take it.
Nah, and that's why we want to make certain that because I had a lot of people commenting on the conversation with Ghana, and we'll get this up and edited to make certain that this is on. I mean, it's on right now because it's live, so we are on YouTube. But I'll get a nice little cover so it'll be done up, and you can get it out. But definitely would
I
love to
love
continue
Zanzibar.
these conversations. Yes, shout out to my homegirl. I hope did you meet up with Ashley out there?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I'm sorry, I didn't. But I have to go back. I will be back to Zanzibar.
Listen,
Beautiful, beautiful country. Very affordable. It was amazing.
and
I
then like I
loved
said,
it. Blue waters.
Ashley Weston, I think she has. Damn, I can't remember the name. I want to call it the whole box, but it's she has a business out there. Ashley's a girl from Philadelphia, like us, that is in Zanzibar, and literally there are so many of us around the world. My job is to continue connecting you guys with people and places that may be on your
Yes.
radar, so that you guys can hear from them, get a better understanding of what life is like over there, why they made the move, what settled them there, what's been like. And then we'll continue to dive in with these conversations and topics so that you guys can get more information because I know y'all are looking to move, but I don't want y'all to go without any real information and resources. So it's blacksinquatar.com, right?
Yep. BLACKSINQATAR.com. That's where the ebook is. You guys can also email me at blacksandqatar@gmail.com if you have any questions. Also on TikTok, also on Instagram. I do reply to messages. So holla at your girl. I'm Bintu. Thank you so much for having me today.
Nah, definitely wanted to make certain that we got you on. I am RJ. I'm here in Medellin. I've got everything you need to make your move to Colombia. You guys go to Mood Travel. That is Mood with two O's, and that's Mood Travel Colombia with two O's as well.com. MoodTravelColombia.com. We have a bunch of free resources. We do relocation tours so we can actually help you move to Colombia. So please make sure you guys are tuned in. I will be back on Monday. I think Monday's topic, I get into exactly why I moved to Medellin, what made me kind of narrow down to Medellin, and realistically, want to make certain that you guys at least have somewhere to go to get these resources. Make sure you guys go to YouTube as well, Black Expat Life in Colombia. That is where all of these conversations live at. So you guys can be able to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what it is that you guys want to see or what country you may want me to get one of my friends on that happens to live there. So thank you, Bintu, for taking some time out of your evening. I'm about to
Thanks for
go
having
enjoy
me.
my day in Medellin and see what it's 80 degrees. My boy said it's 20 degrees in Atlanta. I said I have on t-shirts and some shorts right now and Crocs with no socks. So I'm not gonna let the winter get me down at all. But take it easy.
Period.
Right.
All right. Bye. Thank you so
All right, my
much.
friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right.